Conscious endeavors. We're talking about self-sabotage, fear, doubt, procrastination. Why do we self-sabotage? We're talking about self-love and how to deal with toxic people. Self-sabotage is something that I've dealt with most of my life, and I never really knew how to separate from them. So unfortunately, I'm 43 years old, and I self-sabotage myself almost in every way in my life because I do believe it's because of a lack of self-love. Maybe it's a self-love issue, but maybe for other reasons too. I never cared to be in the spotlight or be noticed or famous. I never cared for that, but I always wanted to make more money than I knew what to do with. That's for sure. Because I always thought that finances equals freedom, but that's not true either. I was wrong. Freedom is freedom from attachment. That's real freedom, is freedom from attachment. Be your own person. Go within. You're never going to be able to transmute the shadow self, the dark side, if you don't meditate and if you don't go within. This is why meditation is so important. We have to transmute the shadow self, right? Why do we self-sabotage? Why do you think we self-sabotage? Does anybody want to talk? Do you self-sabotage? Feel free if you want to grab a box and jump up, and we can talk about self-sabotage. Anybody that wants to listen to the 4 audiobooks I just made yesterday and today, check out the Conscious Endeavors YouTube page. Conscious Endeavors. Each one leads one, each one teaches one. We're talking with my friend Jennifer, Thunder Dreamer. And we're talking about self-love, sabotage, self-sabotage, and toxic people. How to deal with toxic people. Hey, Jennifer, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. Well, I'm back from my break. I took a long break, and we're back now. And, I'm going to change it up. So this is like Gen 3 of Conscious Endeavors. So it's cool because we get to use AI now as a tool. But I like it as far as making memes and stuff for the show and helping me with the graphic arts and with pictures and things. But I don't really like how it's kind of stealing the creativity. That's kind of unhuman. So as far as writing music with AI, I definitely don't want to have any part in that. What do you think of this new AI coming out now and Suno? Have you heard of Suno yet?
No, what is Suno?
That's the AI for music, and now all of these Suno signing contracts with all of these companies, including Berklee College of Music, and Berklee is a college of music, and you have to audition to get in. So there's like this debate going on: should these universities be using Suno or not?
Used it, but
So I've been playing with that a little bit.
well, AI
But
in
yeah, I don't
general,
know.
I believe
Yeah,
is the last step in dehumanizing all of humanity.
yeah, right.
So
Maybe
I'm not.
this is a more popular conversation, I think, than self-love,
Yeah.
huh?
Well, just let it flow. Just let it flow.
Yeah, right.
But I overall don't like it because people will use it in bad ways.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
People are using it now for everything. There was a lady that posted in a singles group that I'm in. She said she was talking to this guy, texting, and she really liked him, and they met. And then when she met him, it was like he was a whole different person. And she's like, "What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I was using AI to talk to you."
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of deceiving, huh?
So it's AI is scary, but we can use it in good ways to help humanity too. But overall, I'm not a fan. I don't like it.
Yeah, right.
And then
It's
it can write a paper for you. So what's going to happen to the writers? It can write a song for you. What's going to happen to the music creators? These kids are growing up with this now. It's going to take away their creativity. That's what they want. They want to take away our creativity.
that's true. I can totally see that too. It wants to do. It's basically like dehumanizing us.
Yes, it's the last step in the dehumanization. The first step
Yeah, right.
was hundreds or thousands of years ago when they created cities and they got people out of nature.
Uh-huh.
That was the first step, and this is the last step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we should have an episode on that. We should talk for an hour just on AI. Good day, good day. What's up, Conscious Endeavors? We're having a conversation talking about the dehumanization of AI. Um, well, I can see it being beneficial because I'm able to do some things now with graphic arts and with my content creation that I wasn't able to before. So it's beneficial for my work that I'm doing,
Yeah,
especially for like music videos and things like this. So it's really nice because now we can make more quality videos and
yeah,
where before I didn't know how to do any of that, where you had to hire people and spend thousands of dollars before. And now we're able to portray what we want to explain, or if we have a vision, we're able to portray that better with AI, depending on what keywords you use and what it spits out as far as like the four pillars and the Mystic Scrolls that I made. Because sometimes I would have to be extremely very descriptive, right? In order for it to pump out what you want it to. And then sometimes it just happens by default. It's like, wow, I didn't even put in too many keywords and it gave me something amazing. So I've been using it to make my scrolls so I could talk about meditation, breathwork, grounding, and fasting. For the last year, I've been pumping my scrolls and now trying to find a way to monetize that. So if there's anybody that can help with that, please contact me. It's not 708 anymore. It's 629-312-4466. I looked up on AI how to monetize the audiobooks, and it said for a 25-minute audiobook, I could get like between $50 and $125. And I'm like, what? How is that possible? Yeah, yes, please. Who
yeah,
the fuck is going to pay that for my audiobook? First of all, I'd like to fucking sign me up. Shit. Shit.
yeah,
I need some of that. Definitely. If I could just put out like 10-minute audiobooks and just make hundreds of them and then charge like, I don't know, $3.33 or $8.88. Like I can put out the Four Pillars audiobook. It's like almost 20 minutes, I think, or no, there's one that's 28 minutes, and I'm not sure why this version is 10 minutes shorter, but I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to get with my computer because it's got some splaining to do. I guess we can jump into talking about the self-sabotage topic. Fear, doubt, procrastination. Why do you think we self-sabotage?
I think it's low self-esteem that's from childhood trauma, abuse, or neglect. That's generally where low self-esteem comes from,
Yeah.
and that turns into thoughts like, "I'm not worthy to have this. I don't deserve this. Um, I'm not enough," and then that turns into actions. So you'll start doing things to punish yourself, and you might not even realize it. I started self-sabotaging at 10 years old, and what I was doing, I didn't even know that's what I was doing, really.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn until many years later in therapy that that's what that was. And I'll try not to be too graphic, but basically it was just holding my bathroom intentionally, and now I know when I'm doing it. Um, because I'll have a quick thought. Oh, I don't deserve that. I'm not gonna do that. Uh, and it's just simple things, um, like cleaning or not going somewhere that I need to go, and procrastination. I have I have really bad procrastination.
Yeah, same here. I could relate.
Um, so really, the only way to reverse these things is self talk. Tell yourself every day, you love yourself, hug yourself, and tell yourself the opposite things that your mind has been thinking all these years. Turn in, turn I'm not worthy into I am worthy. I deserve all good things. I deserve a house to live in. I deserve a good job, or I deserve enough money to survive, to thrive, not survive, but
Mm-hmm.
I deserve love. A lot of people think they don't deserve love, and that's why they don't get it. They keep chasing it. But as long as they think that they don't deserve it, they'll never get it. They'll be attracted to most likely toxic people or emotionally unavailable people. And that's pretty much what's happened to me all my life. What about you?
Yeah, I've been self-sabotaging right around the same age. I You helped me think of something that I didn't think of before with the self-sabotage. I actually I didn't know what it was either, because we don't know that that's what we do. But
Yeah.
I totally ditched the soccer tournament, and that was really important to me. And I don't know why. I just didn't show up. I asked if I could go, and I couldn't get a ride or something. And then I asked my dad if he could give me a ride, and then he was too busy or something. And then I just didn't get to go to my tournament. And I just said, whatever. So I didn't really push to ask or to get there, or I could have probably even walked there, but I didn't really push, and I just self sabotaged it, I guess, because I wanted to blame someone for not being able to give me a ride, or I don't know what happened, but I guess that was a self-sabotaging moment because there was only one or two people of the best that were picked from each team, and they made an all-star team. Well, I made the all-star team, but I didn't. I went to the scrimmage, the practice, but I never made the game. So I think that was maybe. Or either I didn't know how important that was. Maybe I thought that there would be more games. I didn't know that it was just going to be the one game. And then I was just kind of ignorant of it. And it just dawned on me now that probably was a self-sabotaging moment that I had for myself.
Yeah, that could have been your first time.
Yeah, that was my soccer tournament when I was in junior high. So how old are we in junior high? Like 12 and 13 or something like that?
Right. Yeah.
And then right after I failed at soccer, I felt like such a failure, especially because my little brother was so much better than me. Oh, my brother Nick, he would kick my ass in soccer. He was awesome. I really was proud of him for being awesome at finding a craft and being awesome at it. And I hadn't got a chance to do that yet. Well, maybe I did with my guitar, but I never did anything with it. And maybe that's another thing with the self-sabotage. But yeah, my little brother got a chance to play in Soldier Field with his favorite team, the Chicago Fire in Chicago. And he got a chance to play soccer. And I played soccer for a little bit, but I was trying to find myself, and I don't think soccer was it. I kept having side pains, but I always loved soccer. I always loved playing, and it just, I don't know, it was kind of fun, but it wasn't my thing, and it took a while for me to find my thing, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I think the self sabotage also goes with the family dynamic too. See, the thing is I never really could understand like my family, and my family never could understand me. I mean, that's kind of been my whole life that way. They could never understand me. They always thought the worst of me, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm like, and then I created this saying that I found. Well, I didn't create it. I heard someone say, "I'm not who you think I am. You are who you think I am," and that seems to be very true in a lot of cases. So there's a
That's
lot of
self.
people.
That's
Yeah.
self projection.
So there's
That's
a lot of people who would maybe think that I was a certain way, but I wasn't, because they were just projecting onto me what they really were, right? So
yes,
yeah. So I
yes,
mean, it's kind of
because
funny. Yeah.
what you put out, that's what you get back.
And a lot of times in my life, I noticed that people would treat me in ways that they would treat themselves. So they're treating me like they would treat themselves, but I'm not them. So it's not accurate, you know?
And as somebody that has low self esteem, and when that happens, and you allow it to happen, that lowers your self esteem even more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like oil and water. It's two completely different frequencies. I get that even when I just have basic conversation with people. It's like I can read them and they can read me, and we have conversation and we're talking. But then it's like I'm coming from a different perception than they are, you know?
Yeah.
For instance, I just wanted to mind my own business, and I'm walking into these bars in Nashville, and I've noticed people being a little bit maybe extra nice. It's like I just want to be myself. I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass or anything like that. But I noticed that are people out there that do that.
Oh
They kiss
yeah.
ass.
Oh
And
yeah.
then it's like they have to put on this facade or something, and it's like, no, it's like it would have been nice to. I don't know. It's very very confusing as far as the oil and water dynamic, because it's almost like you could read and see them. You could see through them, kind of, because it's like, yeah, you're picking up that energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I'm not about that. It's like,
No. Well, some people that have low self esteem, they're fake. They go the
yeah,
other way.
right there
They're
you go.
fake, and they try to fill their hole with money and material things and social status. And I've never cared about social status or a lot of money. I've never been very materialistic. Um, so there's a great song by The Who called Eminence Front. And it talks about people being fake and wearing their masks, and then sometimes they forget they're wearing their masks.
Yeah.
And I can't be around fake people. I've never enjoyed small talk with people. I've always tried to be or looked for friends that are real friends, that are honest and deep, and that's very hard to find.
Yeah.
So I've always had like one or two good friends, and that's it. And I've never been able to be a part of a group because there's always a mean girl in the group, and then she'll always start picking on me. Um, so I'm just not able to be very social. And I really don't want to be. I really don't miss it at all. Actually, I never had it, so how can you miss something you never had?
I could see that. That's something that that's actually a quote that I made to somebody. How would you know if you never had it? Uh, and it's weird because I don't know. It's really hard. Sometimes we try to make our best friend, but we don't. Sometimes people aren't on the same page. But that's another novel. But really, I think that a lot of self love is attached to the self sabotage. I think they go hand in hand. Um, I think you're right about the confidence and the self esteem. I think that's a thing that we need to really focus on because it's probably a mixture of several things, not just one thing. It's kind of hard to dissect that, right? But
Well, most behaviors stem from low self esteem. That's where it starts.
yeah,
That's why we know that it comes from childhood.
yeah,
And if you came from a toxic family, then you really know about all of these things. You struggle with self love, self sabotage, and so many things.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, the whole self love thing has been a challenge in my reality in the sense of I never thought that I had to work at it. I thought that I was just always taken care of, but it really is work. You got to work at everything. You got to work at relationships. You got to work at partnership. You have to work your job. You have to work on yourself too. And well, you got to be able to decipher and know what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing, right? With the self love. For
Right.
instance, one measure of self love would be fasting for everyone, I would say, because we're detoxing and we're understanding and knowing God and self. And well, nobody wants to fast, so if we don't do the work, we're never going to serve God properly. If we don't do the meditation, the breath work, the grounding, the fasting, so one level of and one measure of self-love would be to go within and focus on self-care, right?
Right.
Um, and it's hard to do that given the daily life schedule and the brainwashing indoctrination on where we should be going and where we're headed. Because where we're headed is not where we should be going, and right now there's going to be a very serious flip and change that's going to happen because, well, nobody's really buying the narrative anymore, as we can see. There's a lot of people dropping out saying, fuck this shit, we're not dealing with this anymore. And so, yeah, well, let's get into the toxic people. How do you deal with toxicity when people are trying to push a narrative that you don't buy? Um, or people who are just lowering your frequency in general in your reality, family, friends, coworkers. How to deal with toxic people? Well, I isolate a lot. That's how I deal with toxicity. How do you deal with toxicity, Jennifer?
Well, after growing up with toxic parents, being the scapegoat, my sister was the golden child. Then being attracted to toxic men all my life. After leaving a true narcissist about 7 years ago, I looked at my pattern and I became a little bit suicidal because I thought, well, I'm never going to find somebody that loves me because I'm attracted to these kind of people. And so I isolated for a long time. And then I found Dr. Romani, and she is the best teacher on toxic personalities. So I started to watch her videos and I learned everything about narcissists and mid-grade toxic people, and even an average person like you and me can have 1 to 3 toxic symptoms, characteristics. So after I learned that, I started to be able to identify behaviors in people around me. And then a while later, I started to do shadow work. And I did it differently than most people do it. They want you to journal, but I knew I would never do it if I had to journal. So I said, well, I'm just going to do it by talking. I'm just going to talk out loud to myself. So I started the shadow work with talking. I did it probably once a week. And I let my intuition guide me to where it needed to go, to where I needed to go. And of course, it took me to my mother. My mother was extremely controlling, and she was at least a mid-grade toxic person. I still to this day don't know exactly what her illness was, but um, I started having shadow work sessions where I'd be talking to her and it'd be turned into yelling. But that's when I really needed. And after I did that a few times, uh, I broke my trauma bond to toxic people. Um, the people that I was talking to, just friends, um, I knew that they were toxic before, but my bond made me stay with them. So after I broke it, these behaviors would turn me off. And that had never happened in my whole life. So I started cutting off friends. And then when I would start try to make a new friend, I could tell if they were toxic or not. So you just have to cut them off. You have to cut your family, toxic family off. You have to cut your toxic friends off, toxic relationships. You have to you have to get out of that.
Yep.
And then you go in with the self-love. I deserve better. I deserve true love. I deserve to be treated well. I don't deserve to be psychologically, verbally, or physically abused. Because we're often attracted to our parents, especially if they were toxic. And when you have a trauma bond, it's actually an addiction. It's a chemical addiction in the brain. You've got it goes back and forth from abuse to love, what seems like love, to abuse to love, and your brain gets addicted to that.
And this is what's called trauma bonding.
Yes, that's where trauma bonding is created. sometime in your childhood from something. Maybe you didn't have toxic parents, but you have depression, and you're attracted to toxic people. And that you know what's going on, but you just can't let go because you've got this bond. Like I feel mine in my stomach, and it's literally like a cord that pulls me along. I wanted to leave this guy. I wanted to leave that last narcissist, but I couldn't. This cord, it just pulls me. So the only way you're never going to be attracted to toxic people again is to educate yourself and break your trauma bond. And so now now that I'm educated very well and I know everything about them, I can identify it pretty quickly. And I just have to get away from them. Because you can't change them, especially if it's a true narcissist. They never want to change because they never think they're wrong. And they literally believe that they're right and you're wrong. So technically they are truly insane. And you can't live with insane. You can't live with you can't change them at all.
Yep, that's the truth.
And something
And
that people that are still with their toxic families, or that are longing for their toxic families, I say that those people were not really your family. They were your training.
definitely.
They were your training for a better life.
Amen.
And you have to let them go, educate yourself, do some spiritual work, whatever that may be, what works for you, to try to ascend. Because as long as you're tied to an anchor, you're never going to rise. If you want to stay at the bottom of that ocean, then stay with them.
Yeah, that's the truth. Sometimes you got to know when to set the boundaries and break free, right?
Yeah, boundaries is something that empaths and highly sensitive people really struggle with, myself included.
Yeah.
So after leaving that narcissist, I got a lot more serious about my boundaries. And I do not break them anymore because I'm tired of repeating the same patterns. And for someone like me, my mirror and my energy is extremely strong. And wherever I go, if there's one, I flush them out. And then they start to attack me. So I just have to leave that situation.
Yeah, if it's too toxic, then the best thing is you can't control others. The best thing to do is the only thing we can do is control ourselves, and just we can get up and walk away, and we can remove ourselves from the situation if somebody's being toxic, or if somebody is lowering our frequency in whatever way, or bringing us down, or the best thing to do is remove ourselves, right?
Right. But if you have a trauma bond, you might have a hard time leaving.
Yeah,
So
that
that
could be
must
true.
be addressed.
Yep.
That must be treated and broken.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first thing you need to do is educate yourself.
Hmm. I agree.
Educate
Yeah.
educate yourself on toxic people. Dr. Ramani, I highly recommend her. And
Okay. I
educate
like
yourself on trauma bonds.
nice. Yeah, I just recently heard about that. I never knew what that was, and it's like what? Like, oh, so that's what that is. And it's like you never know that you have this attachment, and it's like you think that you're supposed to be doing something, but really it's just that we haven't learned any better yet, you know? So
Right.
yeah, it's like a trap.
It is a trap, and
Feels like a trap.
the trap comes from inside.
Yeah, trap comes from ignorance, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Ignorance on what a trauma bond is. A lot of people haven't heard of that. I
Uh-huh.
hadn't heard of that until I started educating myself.
Hmm.
Education is the first step, I believe. But there's so many people out there that don't want to go inside, that don't want to do the work to heal,
Hmm.
and they will continue to suffer from low self-esteem, self-sabotage, and everything else that comes with it. And most people go their whole lives without
Yeah.
without addressing those issues.
Yeah. Well, I'm 43, and I just never knew how. You know, and I'm still dealing with some of that. Yeah, definitely. It's
Well,
kind of sad.
I think it's sad that therapy is given such a bad name.
Yeah.
That if you go to therapy, you're just crazy.
Hmm.
When I was 25, I'd already had a an anxiety disorder since I was 10. I was already an alcoholic at 15. So when I was 25, I had a really bad anxiety attack that lasted for 3 days.
Oh wow.
And it would kind of ebb and flow, go up and down, but it would never completely go away. That had never happened to me before. And so I talked to an older coworker who I looked up to, and she made me promise to call the hotline because we had good benefits at that job. So, so I did, and then I started going to therapy, and I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell anybody because everybody thinks you're crazy if you go to therapy. Well, really, you're crazy if you don't go to therapy.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
anyway, one day there was a male coworker who was really bashing therapy.
Uh
So bad. He pissed me off really bad. And
huh.
so I decided, well, I'm going to start talking about it. And so I started talking about it in front of everybody and multiple times. And one day I was in the lunchroom, and there were probably at least 10 other people there, and I started talking about therapy. And then everybody else went back to work, and I was still finishing my break. And this girl came up to me out of nowhere, and she said, "Thank you for talking about that. I think I need to go."
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was my first, I guess, black sheep moment of telling the truth and helping somebody.
Yeah. And not everybody's gonna like that. That's normal.
Well, being not liked most of my life and actually hated, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, kind of used to it, right?
I'm very used to it. When I used to go get a tarot reading every once in a while, every time they'd start off and they'd get big eyes and they said, "Ooh, somebody's lying about you." The first time that happened, I was like, "What?" Ooh. And then it would happen every time, and I figured out what was going on with toxic people.
Uh-huh.
Mostly coworkers. You know, I barely knew these people, but my energy is so strong and my mirror is so strong, they immediately hate me.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I'm used to it.
Yeah. I don't even think people understand what's happening yet, and it's really it's a difference in frequency. And initially, people don't even know what to or how to react, so they're just going to react out of ignorance most of the time. And so, so what this is really this is just due to ignorance. Yeah, people don't even understand to know what this shit is yet.
Right, and that's why they need to educate themselves.
And well, we never knew what any of this stuff was before, but now we do. Now we're getting to a point where we're starting to understand a little bit. Okay, oh, this is okay. I get it now. You know, it's like this is what this is.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a different
I
language happening.
still
Yeah,
I still go back now. I'm 55 years old. I still go back now and remember things and say, "Oh, that's what that was." So
yeah.
it's a process.
There's a different language now for sure.
Yeah, I remember several years ago when I first heard about a book that came out called Toxic People. And I didn't get into it at that time, and I really wish I had, because I've been repeating the same patterns for so many years. But I'm so glad that I know everything now about them, and I've broken my trauma bond. I'm so grateful for that.
Hmm. Nice.
But
So that's
education is number one.
in turn, the trauma from dealing with toxic people causes us to isolate a lot, which is why I like to isolate a lot because people who are toxic don't know that they're being toxic. That's the thing.
Yeah, they think
So,
they're well, they do know that what they're doing is wrong because they'll hide it from the rest of the world and just do it behind closed doors or in coworker situations or other public situations. They do it,
uh,
they're very sneaky about it. It's very passive aggressive. They spread gossip and lies about you behind your back. So they know what they're doing is wrong, but they actually think they're right and you're wrong.
mhm.
So yes,
But
that's
really,
true.
yeah, right. Really, it's a situation where, again, it's a situation of frequency. I don't think people understand what this is yet, and now, well, now there's a new language that's going on now, and people are speaking a new language, and honestly, there's new consciousness here now, in the sense of the operating system is going to be different from now on and in the future than it ever has been before.
Yes, I
Uh,
see that.
and a lot of people are really, well, a lot of people are seeing changes right now. A lot of people are seeing a lot of changes happening. And there's a lot of changes going on now with frequency. We're seeing frequencies here. We're seeing energies that we haven't seen in over 30,000 years and more. And so it's interesting. There's big changes happening now. And it takes a mirror to see yourself, right?
Definitely.
So every person is a mirror. And so what happens is we attract electromagnetically the same energies that we are. So if we are being toxic, what we're literally doing is attracting toxic people to us so we can see how we are. Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to learn about ourselves is if we have someone like us in our reality, right?
Yes.
And so this is why Source has chosen to make everyone your mirror, so you could learn about yourself.
And figure out your lesson.
Isn't that interesting? See, we don't attract electromagnetically what we want. We don't attract money and love and all this bullshit because we want it. We attract what we are. So the only time you're going to attract abundance is if you are abundant yourself. If you're abundant yourself, that's the only way you're going to attract more. Because these energies work like a magnet, right?
Yes.
And well, if you feel it, you got to feel it to believe it, right?
Right.
You don't got to see it to believe it. You got to feel it to believe it. That's a
Right.
new saying I just created now. You don't got to see it to believe it. You got to feel it to believe it, because that's why science is wrong, in my opinion. Science is wrong because science says you have to see it to believe it, but that's not true. You have to believe it in order to see it, because that's how we create. So
Right.
again, there's a new language now, and there's different energies and different frequencies on Earth now, and the future is looking bright. So, unfortunately, we have to go through a lot of the destruction, right, before we see the beautiful, awesome, amazing times. I don't know if we've seen the worst yet. I hope it doesn't get worse than it is, because I don't know if we can really take it as it is, right?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I guess everybody's just waiting to see what's going to happen.
Well, I think you have to walk through hell before you get to heaven.
That's true. Yep. And we're projecting and we're receiving this reality as a mirror and as a projection and simulation. So everybody thinks that they have to change their outside in order to make things better, but that's not true. In order to change the outside, you got to change your inside. Because your inside is the mirror of your outside, and you're projecting your inside, your inner energies and your inner self, what you're because you're the creator. So you're projecting what you see inside, outside. So it all goes down to the belief system. Yeah. So conscious endeavors. Good day. Talking with my buddy here, Jennifer, Thunder Dreamer. For the first time here, we're having conversation and we're talking about self-sabotage, self-love, and toxic people and how to deal with that.
I wanted to explain my Thunder Dreamer name.
All right.
So
Love to
I'm
hear it.
a Hyoka empath, and you can look that up. But that also people call us chosen ones. I don't like that name because it makes us feel like, or it makes us sound like we're better than everybody else, but we're not. Nobody's better than anybody. Um, so instead of putting Hyoka empath or chosen one, I really like the Native Americans language and culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up the Native American name for that, and that's what that is. Thunder Dreamer.
That's nice. That's funny because that's the second time that Hayoka came up today. I was in a live earlier, and they were talking about Hayokas.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it was the Lakota language,
Yeah, that's all
Lakota
types of
Indians.
Native
Um,
American. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so that's the Native American name for Hyoka empath.
Is Thunder Dreamer, or what is
Thunder,
the name again?
Thunder Dreamer.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's a Hyoka name. It's Thunder
That's
Dreamer.
that's
Nice.
the Native American name for Hyoka empath.
And you're saying Hyoka comes from Lakota?
No, I'm not sure where Hyoka comes from.
Hmm.
That sounds that sounds kind of Japanese to me.
I'm Hyoka in one sense, shape, or form because for some reason that keeps coming into my reality. So I think I need to know about this.
You probably are.
But I was born. See, the thing is I'm not Native American though, so I
You
don't
don't
know how
you
that
don't
would be unless I'm tied to a past timeline.
you don't
Because
have to
my
be
family was what?
you don't have to be Native American. This is not a Native American thing.
Yeah,
Um, I just chose. I wanted a name that wasn't chosen one
yeah.
because I don't want people to think that I think I'm better than anybody.
Right. Yeah, there's a with the whole. Well, that's the whole black magic with the human language is, if you don't use certain words verbatim, people are going to be completely against you and even want to hurt you. This is kind of BS, if you ask me. But well, I my parents were born in Poland, and I was born here in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. So I'm definitely not tied. I don't think to Native American from the America. Maybe I am, and I don't know about it. But my family, for some fucked up reason, kept everything a secret. Just I guess that's how narcs are. So I don't know anything about my past because everything was kept a secret. So I'm going to do my own digging and find out. Because I don't want to do that. You never want to do that blood stuff where you want to give your DNA because they're literally looking for certain types of DNA by doing that. So you definitely don't want to do that. That's what a lot of people fell into that thing, and
Hmm.
well, I've learned that they're actually looking and they're tracking down certain bloodlines, apparently. And that's why they came up with this bullshit. Oh, you want to find out about your ancestors? Send us your blood. So anyway, that's another novel, though. Maybe we should have a live about that. I don't know if that. I don't know if I don't know if I could even talk about
I
that.
don't
so
have much knowledge on that, so yeah.
So anyway, yeah, don't give any of your DNA away, and don't put anything in your body because the devil, well, he wants to get to you through your DNA, and this is not something that, not something that I'm really about. I don't know about you. Maybe some people are more adventurous than me.
Well, if that's what they're doing, then I definitely don't want to do it. I never have done it.
A lot of the stuff that people are putting into their bodies voluntarily nowadays is beyond me. I know for a fact because Source tells me, and I'm connected to God. I'm connected to Source. That you're never going to find health in a shot ever. You're never going to find health uh, in a lab because the health comes from you. You're the health. You have the tools to get healthy. You have the knowledge and understanding, and you have everything within you that Source gave you, so you can heal. So, so anytime anybody wants to tell you, "Hey, take this shit from outside of your body and put it in, and you're going to be better," this is bullshit.
Right.
This is my
Anything.
personal opinion. This also goes with supplements and food, in my opinion, because I don't want to hear people telling me and asking me stupid questions like, "Whoa, what do you do for protein?" That's the main question everybody asks me when I stopped eating meat. Well, well, then how do you explain those guys that are in India and they eat only one meal every 5 months? Well, what do they do for protein? you know, And also, I was in a live yesterday, and someone said that if you go longer than 3 weeks without food, then you will expire. And I said, no, that's not true. And I jumped in and I said, and I don't like to talk about things if people aren't into it. I don't like to push my subjects and topics. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. I didn't know what to do because people didn't know what they wanted, I think. But so I would come into lives and people would talk about one thing and I would just introduce my stuff. But now I understand that, well, sometimes you don't have to insert yourself every time, and you can just sit back and be a listener more. And that's what I choose to do now more, is I want to listen more and be in the back listening than be in the box. But that's just me personally. I'm only going to grab a box if I have something important that I want to say. This is me personally.
Yeah, that's a good topic. Listening, because
Some people want to park themselves in a box and not give anyone else a chance to speak, and I'm not about that. I'm not about taking up and parking, because you're taking up valuable minutes that someone else can be speaking. And then when the host comes to you and says, "Hey, so what do you think?" once or twice or even three times, and you don't say anything, there's no reason for you to be holding up and keeping that real estate locked up. You know, drop down if you don't have anything you have to say, and then get up only when you have something you have to say. But some of us, we don't really get a chance to say a lot, so we just want to say whenever we want to say. So I guess. But that's kind of why I kind of changed up the whole Conscious Endeavors talk show thing, because now I'm only going to invite two people, so it's three of us talking instead of 9. Because when it was 9, it was too much arguing, fighting, people going over each other, and I had some really seriously great conversations happening, and some people were damaging the opportunity for others to learn and grow because of toxicity and because people wanted to come and trauma dump in these rooms, you know? So I had a couple of years practice, 2 to 3 years on this tic-tac, and I see how toxic it could be. So I changed up. So Gen 3 of Conscious Endeavors now, because I started back in 2016, but on YouTube I started November 2019. So I changed it up. So this is Gen 3 now. So yeah, I think that's a great show. Thank you so much for coming, Jennifer. I really appreciate your friendship, and I really appreciate you coming and talking with us and sharing your personal experience on self-sabotage, self-love, and toxic people. Thank you so much for coming. Is there any closing statements that you'd like to throw down?
just reiterate, educate yourself on whatever situations you're going through, and do some work on it, whether it be therapy, whether it be spiritual therapy, whatever you find that works for you. Do the work and it'll work.
Conscious Endeavors.